Ma'am, please start.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to this second live session. I'm your instructor, Aysha Iqbal Mohan, and we meet again. This is our second meeting for American Literature and Culture course. I hope, so let me begin with just a little reminder about submission of your assignments. So I hope you are submitting your assignments on time and regularly, because see, these are all MCQ types and you are expected to submit it online as per the requirement and as per the guidelines provided by the NPTEL. I will talk about the pattern of question paper at the end, because I am sure more people would be joining us. So till whatever time, if there are lots of candidates, then we can continue. Otherwise, we can finish between 6:30 and 6:40. This just depends on how many queries we get. So I would, as I already mentioned, I will discuss the question paper pattern at the end, because I already can see two questions related to. One is by Purba and one is by Trisha, the pattern, the question paper pattern. So I'm sure that many people would be joining us and they will be asking the same question. So let me just respond to them later. Yes. So I'll start with responding to Ashwini. She has a question. How does the question should be, how do American writers, now does not how does, but how do American writers represent their way or place of living in their writings, and how does it work as a critique? It works as a critique because we talk about representation of cities. Let me give you one example. Locale has always been very important in American writings, as in British writing and other writings also. So where authors, not the place where they come from or the place where they belong to, it always holds a very special place for them in their imagination and as well as in their writings. Mark Twain, the great American author who had written Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, just to name two of his great works. He basically wrote about the terrain that he was familiar with, the Mississippi region. Okay, same goes for Faulkner, William Faulkner. So there have always been writers who have foregrounded their place, their city, their town, or wherever they come from. Edith Wharton, for example, whose work The Age of Innocence we are already doing for this course. So she was a writer of the New York City, and nobody represented the city, at least during that time, the city and its people. Okay, the psychology, the anthropology, the sociology of the city so well as Edith Wharton. So it works. I mean, there is a lot of work that can be done. And as recent as this writer who had written, what is it? The White, wait a minute, I'll just give you the name. The author's name is Don DeLillo, and he has written White Noise and Underworld and Libra. Relatively contemporary, and he has also foregrounded cities in his work. Tom Wolfe, for example, the man who has written The Bonfire of the Vanities, and The Bonfire of the Vanities is again, you can consider it as a contemporary novel. It was written in 1987, and it is completely rooted in the New York City. So he not only talks about the elite and the Upper East Side people of the New York City, but also Harlem and the people from the Queens and Brooklyn and various how spaces and living areas shape the character, personality, behavior, and attitudes of the people. So it's not just one monolithic city. New York, for instance, is not just a monolithic city. It is various things or various, it means or represents or symbolizes many things to many people. Okay. You can talk like that about any city. For example, even people who write about Bombay. Salman Rushdie's Bombay is very different. Let's consider the Bombay as represented in Shantaram. Okay, so different authors' perspective can be seen through or is reflected in their writing. So you can't expect every writer to give you your perspective of the city. They write what they know about best. Your second question is, what role does immersion play? Yeah, it's a lengthy question. And when you say that it was a big failure as far as implementation goes, it is a very contentious statement, and we don't have enough time and space to discuss this here. Your question is uh, transcendentalism and poets from Whitman to Crane, how they have fared. Yeah, so Whitman is an important transcendentalist, and his writings had a far-reaching influence because let's say, people like us, and his essay on civil disobedience and the impact it had on Gandhiji's way of life. Okay, Gandhiji made it his motto, civil disobedience. So uh, uh, if we look at it from that perspective, yes, it had a very, Whitman had a very strong influence on world literature. Again, if you consider Walden, so Walden is about man, individuality, and how man living in communion with nature. And if we talk about transcendentalism and the eco-criticism and theory of eco-criticism, we can relate it very well because it still resonates with what, the kind of um, ideas that are around us, particularly in terms of environmentalism and eco-criticism. So perhaps Walden is very relevant in that term. Hart Crane, of course, is a modernist. Yes, I will be responding to MCQs, etc. Please give me some time to respond to that. I will be talking about your okay, we will talk about, yeah. So I understand you have questions about MCQs and QPs, and we will respond to that. Okay, so you can, if you have any other kind of question, please keep typing it. Your QP pattern and MCQs, I will respond at the end. Yeah, so continuing with Hart Crane was a modernist. So we do not, and Hart Crane was not the only modernist or important modernist of the American age. There were several others who were as important. For example, we had E. Cummings, and we had famously Ezra Pound also, who are extremely important, the modernists. They are the modernists. Okay, so coming back to Emerson, why Emerson? Emerson was the first to make a call for American literature and individualism and self-reliance. The idea was to break away from other kinds of influences. For example, influences such as European literature or British literature. Okay. and to produce that kind of literature which is more American in tone and nature. So that is the importance of Emerson, which can never be wiped away, because Emerson will always remain important as the writer who called out for an individual, a distinctive American voice in American literature, which is free from the shackles of European and British literature. So the idea was that there should be a distinct or very individualistic American voice. That's important to remember. So yeah, American Emerson is important not just for his idea of transcendentalism, which is extremely important even today, as I already mentioned. When we talk about eco-criticism and all, people always hark back to the ideas of Emerson and Thoreau and all the other important transcendentalists. So transcendentalism didn't just influence literature, but also popular culture and also music. So yes, Emerson, I would say, is an extremely important voice, and transcendentalism is an extremely important movement. I wouldn't want to comment on the other aspect of your question, whether it was a failure movement or not. Okay. Yeah, so I will respond to your QP patterns. There were issues with questions 4 and 6 in assignment 7. Yeah, I think we have been looking at it. We will look at it again. And once I will let me tell you one thing. Once an issue is resolved, then it may take some time to put up or update on the portal, but it gets resolved. Perhaps we may not be able to inform or disseminate information about it right away, but it will be taken into consideration. We will resolve it, and marks will be given accordingly. NPTEL and IITs have a way of resolving that, and everyone will be treated equally, if that is the question. And of course, we will regarding mailing the resolution for all the participants, rest assured that it will be done. I hope I have responded to. Okay, now there are several questions. Okay. I'll again respond to this question, because it is one question that I see which is not related to MCQs and QPs. So can you name few American authors who bring the marginalized people to the center? Yes, all. I mean, let's say Mark Twain and Huckleberry Finn. And Jim is an important parallel character. Huckleberry Finn is the hero, of course, and Jim is the black hero. His friend. And we are talking about 19th century literature, where where the character of Jim is not just some kind of a sidekick, but he is a very important part of Huckleberry Finn's life. So it has always been there. Even white people have written about marginalized characters. So and of late we find plenty of literature about what they call the LGBTQ kind of literature, and we have focused on the marginalized people. Okay, and indigenous people also. So you have to be more specific. What exactly you mean by the marginalized people, because American literature is so multicultural, and they have always attempted to focus on the marginalized people. If not, what you mean is center, novels revolving around them, then but they do have very integral roles in the literature, in that literature. Yes. Okay, so I'm not getting any other question here. So let me now come to Prisha Pal's question number 1. Could you please discuss the question paper pattern of the final proctored exam? Yes, you will have 100 mark QP. That is your question paper. It will be completely MCQ. Pattern is almost like your assignments. Pattern is almost like your assignment. Now, what does that mean? That means you will have MCQs in your QPs, in your question paper and semester question paper. However, it is for 3 hours. Ideally, it is for 3 hours. So it can't be as short, and here is the main difference. It cannot be as short as your assignments. So you can expect lengthy or longer questions. Lengthy or longer questions, because we also want to problematize the question paper. It cannot be an easy walk, so to speak. So this is the pattern. Yes, it is like it is 100 marks. It will have 100 questions, 100 marks. It is out and out MCQ type. But questions would be lengthier. You will have to sit and read carefully. So don't take it lightly. You will have to watch the lectures, and you'll have to follow all the guidelines. So I hope I have responded to you. Now, let me go to this question. Shall the exam be 100 MCQ, 100 mark, 100 MCQ type? Yes, there will be 100 MCQs. Live interaction 1 is not uploaded for those who missed. Karthik, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
There is a comment that live interaction 1, which we had in August, is not yet uploaded. So please, can you follow that up?
Yeah, okay.
If it has not been uploaded, kindly upload it.
Okay.
Get some papers.
All right. I have already responded to your second question, Shurid. Now, Purba Chakravarti, will only MCQs be asked? Yes, only MCQs will be asked in the end semester exam. Will the questions be similar to that of the assignment? They will be longer, but similar in style. Okay. And then again, there is a question. Will there be only MCQs in the October exam? Yes. Yeah, it is a repetition of this earlier question number 7. Yeah, so only MCQs. So now that you don't have any other question, I will give you some time. You can type in your queries. Karthik? Hello, Karthik?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think I have responded to all the questions.
Okay.
We can wait for another 10 minutes.
Oh, sure, ma'am. Okay.
Hello, Karthik.
Yes, ma'am.
Karthik, can you resend me the mail? Sorry, a link. I got find out.
Sorry, ma'am.
Can you resend me the chat link? I got signed out.
Okay, okay, ma'am. This Google sheet, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. I will share it again.
Okay, dear participants, I'm still here. If you have any other questions apart from the pattern of QP, please ask me now. As I have already announced, the QP will be for 100 marks. And you please follow up with the NPTEL website. They will keep making important announcements. So please follow that up. Assignments, as you are submitting, you know that they will be having, you are having MCQs. QP will also have MCQ types, but since it's a 3-hour long question paper or an exam, you are expected to be better prepared, more seriously prepared. So it will be a much lengthier QP. So please be prepared for that. Regarding the dates and other important details, please keep watching NPTEL website. So this is my last question that you have asked. Will there be only MCQs in the October exams? Yes. Will the pattern of the question paper be similar to that of the assignments? Yes, but lengthier. It would be lengthier. There will, perhaps you can also expect lengthy questions. So you will have to be very well prepared. Don't take, again, I'm telling you, don't take it lightly. I'm here for another 5 minutes if you are looking for any response from me, please type in your question. Otherwise, by 6:30, I'll sign off because I can see there aren't too many questions forthcoming from you. Regarding the issue with the assignment 7, rest assured that I'll go back to it and I'll again look at it, and you people will be informed. Even if the information doesn't come right away, don't worry about it. So far, there has never been any incidents where where any student has been at a disadvantage. Okay, so don't worry about those things. All right. Thanks a lot for joining. We'll meet again in October, and take care. And I will resolve this particular issue of assignment 7, and don't worry about it. So thank you very much for joining.